Hello, I'm Cecilia Louie of Paper Zen. In this video, I'll be showing you how to outline the lowercase letter M. I've already got my strip ready to go here, and it's already folded in the score line areas. So let's get to softening these round edges. To do that, I'll be using a crochet hook. I generally like the wider circumference of this rather than my needle tool. So let's tackle the first curve here. I'm just going to gently soften it. Now I don't want to come past that fold because that part here has to stay straight. So I'm just going to gently soften by rubbing the paper against my finger. It's actually more of a rub really than a soften, but it's hard to grip and not ruin the rest of the paper here. So I'm doing a gentle rub. So just like I normally do, I'll just put it down on my sheet and compare it to the outline. So that's not too bad. And I just gently widened it by pulling it a little bit outward until I found the shape that I want. And then for the next rub, right to here. So we don't want to go too far. And the way you can tell whether you're going to go too far is basically put it against the outline and grip where you want it to stay straight. So I want it to stay straight right from here. So I'm going to soften up to there, and then I'm going to scrape. So in other words, I'm going to do it just with a bit more force. And then because I know that the curve here is a bit more intense, then I'm going to rub that part in. And again, just like we normally do, we have to compare and make adjustments as we go. So just about there. So really just adjusting that curve right there. And that's pretty much there. So that's the first strip. And I know that this doesn't look anything like that right now, but it will be when we're done with it. So we just need to soften right to there. So I'm just going to put the strip here, and I see I need to start right about there. Now you see how the paper is just a little shy of that curve. So I just need to give a bit more curve right there. And I'm putting quite a bit more force right there. And in some cases I find it's just better to put your needle down, and when basically the fibers have been softened, at this point it's more of a, how do I explain it? A compression of where you want those curves to happen. So in a case like this, because I know I want a bit of curve coming towards a certain direction, it's not like this kind of curve where it's more even all around. I want this one to slant a little bit. And I just find that if I use my fingers to gently tug it in the direction that I want it to go, I can direct those curves better than where I can give direction using this needle. So you see how now this is matching it bang on. Okay, so let's just do the same with this guy. And again, so we're about 90% there, and I'm just going to do what I did last time and just gently shift that curve exactly where I need it to go. And don't think that this is going to now tame it into like the nicest puppy dog, because as soon as I let go here, it's going to spring into whatever shape it wants to be. The point is that you can attain, you know, a fair bit of the curve, and when you go to glue it down, you gently guide it back into this shape again. So there it is, springing into its own thing, which is fine. We're okay with that. It has its own personality, and when we go to glue, we'll just guide it back to this exact shape. Okay, so let's glue this outline down to our card. Now I've already traced my letter M onto my work surface, and because this letter, the hardest part is right here, I'm going to tackle the bottom piece first. And these 3 lines here are all lined up, and if you're off a little bit, you're going to be able to tell. So we don't want any of this sashaying around. So to prevent that, or to help it be straight, I've used a plastic card that's quite stiff and taped it down to my work surface using removable tape. This is going to guide all those edges to be straight. Okay, so I've got some glue smeared on my thin plastic card, and I'm just going to dip just this segment right here into the glue. Okay, now I'm going to work on the next straight segment, and maybe I'll come from this direction to dip. I want to dip strategically. We don't want to get glue anywhere else except for that straight segment. Okay, so it's going to get a bit tricky. I'm going to tackle this straight edge first. Again, strategic dipping. Okay, and now the next part, the straight part only. And a gentle tug to the right. And it really helps to get on top of your work. So a straight view down helps, because otherwise when you're viewing it from the side, it kind of gets a little distorted to see all the details. Okay, so now we've got the other straight segment to go. Again, some strategic dipping. Now, if you want to be daring, live life on the fast edge here, I'm actually going to kiss the glue on this side too, right here. And I'm going to do double dipping, double gluing. And that'll save me a step later on to glue these 2 edges together. All right, how's that for a 2-for-1? Okay, I'm just going to tackle only the straight area here. So you see just that part was glued down, okay? But it's made it easier by doing it in partial areas. There's no reason to have to tackle all of it all at once. And just work your way down the length of the segment. I find that when you do, you know, an important curve, if you just take it one little small section at a time, it's so much easier to control than doing the entire segment. Because this strip here, it could be this way, that way, wherever, I'm actually going to do this first and then get in there after and let this be the fudge it area. I hope that makes sense, because I don't want to fudge on this strand here, because I want this part to be extremely defined. There's no give here, there's no leeway if I, you know, run out of room or have too much room. I hope that makes sense. Okay, now for the last two segments. Now, this part does make it harder because, you know, this part here and this part here are down. And you have to, you know, do quite a bit of lifting just to get it all in there. And we don't want to smear any glue on the side either. So you really need to make sure you get to clear that glue puddle, both when you get it in and when you get it out. Now you see what I mean by this part being able to fudge here. This part has no fudge room whatsoever. That's why it was good to work backwards and let any excess or you know, not enough space happen right around here, and no one's going to notice anything. Now for the last step, as usual, we're just going to apply a little bit of glue to the corner here. We're just going to push that edge aside and run the glue up the edge of this guy. Bring the needle up the side and bring those two edges together. And there we've got our letter M. Don't forget to visit my blog to download your free template to give it a try. As for how to fill in the letters, please watch my previous videos for a variety of ideas. I want to keep improving my tutorials, so would you let me know what tip was new for you in the comments below, or what technique you enjoyed learning about most? If you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll give it 2 thumbs up. Thanks, and see you next time.